16 airport secrets airlines use to trick passengers in 2025. Ever feel like airports are designed to mess with you? The overpriced sandwiches. The mystery gate changes. That weird feeling you're being watched while you try to charge your phone next to a fake plastic plant. Yeah, it's not your imagination. Airports and airlines have spent years perfecting ways to control, manipulate, and profit from passengers without you even noticing. But once you know their secrets, you'll never look at your boarding pass the same way again. Because behind the sleek walkways and smiling gate agents, there's a whole system of psychological tricks, shady policies, and hidden traps just waiting to cost you time, money, and your sanity. In this video, we're exposing the 16 airport secrets airlines use to trick passengers in 2025, including why some airport charging stations might be spying on you, how your bag can legally be auctioned off without your permission, and a simple bathroom hack that'll change how you land forever. So grab your boarding pass, buckle up, and whatever you do, don't book another flight until you've seen this. Let's jump in. Secret number 1. The airport's darkest secret? Your luggage is a target. You hand over your bag at check-in, smile politely, and trust the airline to deliver it to your final destination. But behind the scenes, something else could be happening. Your luggage might never make it. In 2023, a shocking 7.6 million bags were lost, delayed, or mishandled by airlines around the world. That's more than 20,000 pieces of luggage per day. And it's not just budget carriers. Major airlines like American, British Airways, and Air India were all at the top of the mishandling list. But here's what the airlines don't want you to think about. Theft is a real and growing problem, especially at busy airports. In the US alone, the TSA reported more than 15,000 internal theft investigations in the past decade, many involving baggage handlers caught with stolen laptops, cameras, cash, and even engagement rings. Some airports are worse than others. Miami, JFK, and LAX have all made headlines for theft rings inside their baggage departments. In one case, security footage showed a worker unzipping a suitcase and pocketing items while the bag moved through the system, completely undetected until days later. Even more disturbing? Most passengers never know what really happened. Your missing headphones? Must have fallen out. That cash you packed for your honeymoon? Sorry, nothing we can do. Most theft claims are dismissed unless you have proof, and even then, compensation is minimal. So how do you protect yourself? First, never check valuables. That means no electronics, cash, jewelry, or essential documents. Always keep those in your carry-on. Second, tag your suitcase with a tracker, like an Apple AirTag or Tile. People have recovered their luggage from entirely different airports thanks to these little devices. And third, photograph everything. Your bag, the contents, and even your claim ticket. It's your only evidence if something goes wrong, because once your suitcase disappears behind that curtain, it's out of your hands, and sometimes out of the system entirely. And the scariest part? You won't know it's gone until it's too late. Secret number 2. Surveillance seats. Why that perfect charging spot watches you. So you're racing through the airport, your phone is at 3%, and just as panic starts to set in, you spot it. An empty chair with a charging port. Jackpot, right? Well, maybe not. That dream seat might actually be a trap. Many airports have strategically placed these charging zones in surveillance-heavy areas. Some are rigged with hidden cameras, built-in mics, or smart sensors that track how long you stay, what you're doing on your device, and even how often you're glancing around. You're not just charging your phone, you might be charging up someone's intel file. In fact, some security teams have access to AI-backed facial recognition software right at these hubs. They're designed to blend in, but in reality, they're silently collecting behavioral data. You're checking your gate, replying to a message, and scrolling through cat memes. Meanwhile, someone's watching your every twitch and tap. And if you're venting to a friend about airport drama, maybe think twice before doing it right next to TSA. These surveillance chairs aren't everywhere, but they're becoming more common. They're usually placed near high-traffic gates, customs, or major security points. So next time you see a suspiciously convenient charging chair that's wide open when everything else is full, maybe stand instead. It's not paranoia if they're literally watching. Secret number 3. The filthy truth about airport water fountains. You've just made it through security. You're tired, Your lips are dry, and that $7 bottled water is staring at you like a financial threat. But then, salvation. A good old-fashioned water fountain. But before you lean in for a sip, don't. Airport water fountains might look clean, but studies have shown they're actually among the dirtiest spots in the terminal. We're talking mold, bacteria, even biofilm, the slimy layer of germs that builds up when no one's properly cleaning. Some of these fountains go days or even weeks without a real scrub. And every day, hundreds of passengers touch that little silver button after sneezing, eating, or worse. One test found that airport drinking fountains had more bacteria than a toilet flush handle. Yep, you heard that right. The thing you're trusting for hydration may be grosser than a public bathroom stall. If you're trying to stay healthy before a flight, especially a long-haul one, this is not the place to take chances. Either bring an empty reusable water bottle and fill it at a clean, filtered station. Many modern airports now have these, or, painful as it is, cough up the cash for sealed bottled water from a store. Because the only thing worse than spending $14 on a sandwich at the gate is boarding your flight with a stomach bug. Secret number 4. Bag scanners that see inside more than you think. You hand over your suitcase, wave goodbye, and assume it's heading straight to the plane. But behind the scenes, your bag is on a solo mission, through some of the most advanced scanning tech in the world. These aren't just standard X-rays. We're talking full-on explosive detection systems that combine 3D imaging, powerful chemical sniffers, and shape recognition AI that can detect a hidden item in seconds. Some scanners are so precise, they can analyze the density of materials and identify substances inside closed containers, without opening a single zipper. And they don't just scan what's visible. These systems can detect the difference between an innocent bag of chips and something far more suspicious buried deep in your socks. Your souvenirs, your toothpaste, that novelty gift from grandma, they're all getting analyzed, categorized, and cross-checked against threat profiles. It all happens lightning fast. Before your bag even hits the conveyor belt, it's passed through layers of detection that would make sci-fi writers proud. But here's the kicker. If anything seems off, even slightly, your luggage can be pulled, opened, swabbed, and flagged before you've even made it to your gate. This isn't just about safety. It's also about speed and efficiency. Thousands of bags, scanned every hour, with near zero human error. So the next time you're tempted to smuggle in that oversized snow globe or questionable snack from overseas, maybe think twice. The machines? They're already watching. Secret number 5. Overbooking algorithms. Why your seat might not exist. You checked in, your boarding pass says, confirmed, and you're strolling toward the gate thinking everything's locked in. But guess what? Airlines have a secret weapon, and it's not the friendly smile at the counter. It's math. Behind the scenes, your seat is being managed by an algorithm that's betting you, or someone else, isn't going to show up. Airlines don't just sell enough tickets to fill a plane. They sell more than that. It's called overbooking, and it's 100% intentional. Why would they do this? Because on every flight, a handful of passengers cancel last minute, miss connections, or just don't show up. So the airlines run the numbers, looking at past trends and real-time data, and decide how many extra tickets to sell. It's a calculated risk designed to make sure no seat flies empty. But when everyone shows up, that's when chaos hits. Suddenly, your confirmed seat turns into, "Sorry, sir, we'll have to rebook you." You might be offered a voucher, a hotel, or nothing at all, depending on how desperate they are and how loud you complain. And here's a tip. If you're flying on a Friday evening, a Monday morning, or around a holiday, your odds of being bumped go way up. Business travelers and families tend to be more punctual, which throws off the no-show formula. So if you're flying during peak times, always check in early, get to the gate on time, and make sure your seat isn't at risk. Because yes, your seat might be printed on your ticket, but thanks to the algorithm, it might not actually exist. Secret number 6. Secret code words for emergencies. If you've ever flown and heard the flight attendants or airport staff say something that didn't quite make sense, maybe it was Code Adam, Jim Wilson, or Operation Bright Star, you weren't imagining things. These aren't random phrases. They're secret code words airlines and airports use to signal emergencies without causing mass panic. Let's start with one of the eeriest ones, Jim Wilson. It might sound like a generic name, but to airline staff, it means someone has passed away, on the plane. It's not announced to passengers, of course. You won't hear, Ladies and gentlemen, we've had a fatality in seat 22B. Instead, they'll quietly call it in, notify the necessary team, and handle it discreetly, sometimes even strapping the deceased into a seat with a blanket pulled over them until landing. Then there are codes used for other emergencies, like medical situations, fires, security threats, or suspicious packages. Code Bravo, 7500, or Red Party might be used depending on the airline or country. These terms keep things calm, but allow the crew to act fast behind the scenes. The idea is to protect passengers from panic. After all, if someone shouted about a serious threat in a crowded terminal, you can imagine the chaos. But Code Bravo? That flies under the radar. So next time you hear something strange over the intercom, something that doesn't seem to match what's going on, just know that you might be witnessing a serious situation unfolding in real time. And that calm tone? It's not because nothing's happening. It's because everything might be. Secret number 7, ghost flights. Imagine you're sitting at your gate watching a plane take off, but there's barely anyone on board. No crowd, no rush, just a handful of passengers, or maybe even none at all. It's not a mistake. That could be what's called a ghost flight. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. These flights aren't flying empty by accident. Airlines are doing it on purpose. You see, major airports operate on something called a slot system. Airlines are assigned valuable takeoff and landing time slots, especially at busy international airports. But there's a catch. If they don't use those slots, even if the flight isn't profitable, they can lose them permanently. And that means another airline can snatch them up. So instead of canceling flights that have few or no passengers, especially during off-peak seasons or after a scheduling shuffle, airlines will literally fly an empty or nearly empty plane just to keep that time slot active. It might sound wasteful, and it is. Fuel, crew, maintenance, all for a flight that's basically a placeholder. But to the airline, it's a strategic move. Keeping that slot could be worth millions long-term. Ghost flights peaked during the pandemic, when travel restrictions made it impossible to fill seats. But even now, they still happen quietly, and more often than most travelers realize. So next time you wonder why a plane is departing with a cabin full of empty seats, remember, it might not be flying for you. It might be flying for the schedule. Secret number 8. Why the first bathroom is the worst one. You've just landed. The seatbelt sign dings off, and like clockwork, there's a mad dash to the front of the plane, and straight to the nearest bathroom just past the arrivals gate. But here's the problem. That bathroom? It's the dirtiest, most overused, and most chaotic one in the entire airport. Why? Because everyone has the same idea. Dozens, sometimes hundreds, of passengers from your flight and a few earlier ones are all rushing to that same spot. There's a line out the door, paper towels everywhere, sinks that won't drain, and that one automatic soap dispenser that just blinks at you. It's not just gross, it's stress-inducing, and it's completely avoidable. Instead of joining the post-flight stampede, here's the smarter move. Just keep walking. Head a little deeper into the terminal, past the first obvious restroom signs, and you'll often find quieter bathrooms that are cleaner, fully stocked, and nearly empty. These hidden gems aren't even that far away. Just another minute or two of walking, and you've upgraded from chaos to calm. Less noise, no rushing, and way less of a biohazard. So next time you land and feel that urge to sprint to the first restroom, remember, your bladder can hold out just a little longer. Your sanity will thank you. Secret number 9. Airport ATMs are total ripoffs. You're at the airport, you need cash fast, and there it is, an ATM glowing like a beacon near your gate. Seems convenient, right? Well, brace yourself. That little money machine might be the most expensive stop of your entire trip. Airport ATMs are notorious for sky-high withdrawal fees, terrible exchange rates, and shady fine print that even the best travelers miss. In some cases, you could lose 10% or more of your money just by pressing a few buttons. And if you're using an international card, it's even worse. Between foreign transaction fees, currency conversion markups, and ATM operator charges, your $100 withdrawal might turn into $85 before it even hits your hand. And guess what? Airport banks know this. They've studied traveler behavior. They know you're tired, rushed, and unlikely to shop around. That's why their machines are placed in high-traffic, high-stress areas, and why they profit from people not thinking twice. So what should you do instead? Withdraw your cash before you get to the airport. ideally at your own bank or a trusted ATM in town. Or better yet, use a travel-friendly credit card that waives foreign fees and lets you tap to pay for almost everything. Because that quick stop at the airport ATM, it's not just a convenience, it's a trap. Secret number 10. $14 sandwich? The science behind airport price gouging. You're walking through the terminal, hungry, tired, maybe even a little jet-lagged. And there it is, a sad-looking sandwich sitting under fluorescent lights. Nothing fancy, maybe turkey and cheese. But the price? $14. Why does everything at the airport cost a small fortune? Well, it's not random, it's actually calculated psychology. Once you pass through security, you're stuck. You can't bring your own water. You can't just pop over to a cheaper cafe down the road. So retailers inside airports jack up prices because they know you've got nowhere else to go. It's called captive audience pricing. You're not just paying for the sandwich. You're paying for convenience, desperation, and limited options. It's the same reason that $3 granola bar suddenly looks like a great deal. You're tired, hungry, and your judgment isn't exactly at its sharpest after a red-eye or long security line. Even airport rent plays into this. Retailers pay a premium for space inside terminals, and guess who that cost gets passed on to? Yep, you. But here's the trick. Pack your own snacks. Protein bars, trail mix, dried fruit, anything sealed that can pass through security. Or eat a proper meal before you leave for the airport. That $14 sandwich loses all its power when you're full. Because the real secret isn't what's in the sandwich. It's how airports make you feel like it's your only option. Secret number 11. Luggage auctions. The fate of bags that never make it home. So, what happens when your suitcase doesn't show up on the carousel? Most people picture it riding a lonely conveyor belt forever, looping endlessly in some forgotten corner of the airport. But nope, your bag has a deadline. If it goes unclaimed for long enough, usually around 90 days, it's not just sitting around waiting for you. It gets auctioned off to the highest bidder. That's right, your carefully packed clothes, souvenirs, maybe even grandma's sweater, they could end up in a stranger's hands, along with everything else in that suitcase. And here's the kicker. No one opens the bags before the auction. Buyers bid blind. It's basically a high-stakes mystery box. There are entire warehouses dedicated to this. People walk in and drop a few $100 on a random suitcase, hoping to score electronics, designer clothes, or occasionally, just someone's laundry and a broken flip-flop. And yes, this really happens a lot more than you'd think. Thousands of bags never find their way home. So what can you do? For starters, tag your luggage inside and out with your name, number, and email. And always keep essential items, medication, chargers, valuables, in your carry-on. Because if your bag goes MIA, there's a ticking clock before it becomes someone else's surprise treasure chest. Secret number 12. Lounges aren't just for the rich. How you can get in. Ever strolled past one of those sleek airport lounges, peeked through the frosted glass, and thought, must be nice? Plush chairs, free food, people sipping lattes like they're at a spa instead of Terminal C? Well, here's the secret. You don't need to be a business class flyer or some diamond tier loyalty member to get in. You might already qualify and not even know it. Many airport lounges now offer day passes, no strings attached. Just pay a fee, sometimes as low as $30, and you're in. It's cheaper than 3 bottles of water and a sad airport sandwich. But it gets better. Some credit cards, even ones without high annual fees, offer free or discounted lounge access. And if you've got a premium card like Amex Platinum or certain Visa or MasterCard travel cards, you might already have access to Priority Pass or other global lounge networks. Some lounges don't even check what airline you're flying. So if your card unlocks it, you're in, no matter what ticket you're holding. So instead of hovering around a packed gate fighting for a charging port, you could be reclining with free snacks, clean bathrooms, unlimited Wi-Fi, and actual peace and quiet. Before your next flight, check your wallet or your airline's app. Because the gate might be chaos, but the lounge is your hidden oasis. Secret number 13. The tray table is dirtier than a toilet seat. You finally get to your seat. The seatbelt clicks, the overhead bin is locked shut, and you flip down that little tray table to rest your phone, maybe enjoy a snack, or catch up on emails. It looks clean enough, right? Wrong. That tray table? It's one of the dirtiest surfaces on the entire plane. And I'm not just being dramatic. Studies have found that the average airplane tray table harbors more bacteria than a public toilet seat. Why? Because between flights, airline crews do a quick turnaround clean, but that mostly means fluffing pillows, straightening seatbelts, and maybe wiping down the armrests. The tray tables? Often skipped entirely. And remember, people don't just eat off these things. Some change diapers on them. Others use them to rest bare feet, makeup kits, even use tissues. Grossed out yet? But here's the good news. There's a simple fix. Travel with sanitizing wipes. It takes 10 seconds to give your tray, armrests, and seatbelt a quick once-over. Trust me, future you and your immune system will thank you. Just imagine sitting down for your next flight, pulling out your sanitizing wipe like a pro, and confidently claiming your space while everyone else is rubbing their eyes with tray table fingers. It's a small move, with big payoff. Secret number 14, flight time padding. Ladies and gentlemen, we've arrived early. You hear it over the speaker and think, nice. A few extra minutes to make that connection, grab a snack, maybe even beat the rush at baggage claim. But here's the secret. You probably didn't land early. You were just tricked by flight time padding. Airlines have a sneaky habit of adding extra minutes, or even up to an hour, to the scheduled flight time. So even if the plane takes off late, there's still a good chance it lands on time, or better yet, early. Why? Because those stats matter. Airlines are judged by their on-time performance. It's a big deal in the industry. Better stats mean better reputation, better contracts, and fewer complaints. So, rather than improve turnaround times or efficiency, many airlines just fudge the numbers at the schedule level. That 2-hour flight you booked? It probably only takes 1 hour and 35 minutes in the air. But by padding the schedule, they give themselves wiggle room, and you the illusion that everything ran smoothly. It's not illegal, it's not even new, but it is clever, and once you know it, you'll never look at your arrival time the same way again. Secret number 15. Yes, your pilot might be sleeping, legally. Picture this. You're flying at 35,000 feet, cruising smoothly above the clouds, and everything feels under control. But here's a twist most passengers don't know. Your pilot might be asleep. No, not in a wake him up, we're heading into turbulence kind of way. This is totally normal. On long-haul flights, pilots follow strict rest schedules. They take turns napping in designated crew rest compartments, some hidden above the cabin, others behind locked doors, while their co-pilot or the autopilot takes over. In fact, regulated in-flight rest is required for safety. Tired pilots are a danger to everyone. So, aviation authorities around the world, like the FAA in the US and CASA in Australia, allow controlled rest periods during cruise time. And get this, studies have shown that pilots who nap mid-flight are more alert during takeoff and landing, the most critical parts of flying. So, if you ever wonder what's happening behind the cockpit door, yes, your pilot might be snoozing. But don't panic. That nap, it's keeping you safer. Secret number 16. Why AI is flagging travelers for not matching their passport photos. You breeze through security, head to the boarding gate, and step up to the facial recognition scanner. You're calm, confident, until suddenly, it flashes red. Denied. What happened? Welcome to the strange new world of AI-powered border checks. Airports across the globe are now using facial recognition technology to speed up boarding and immigration. But here's the catch. The AI expects you to look exactly like your passport photo, and that's where things go wrong. If you've changed your hairstyle, dyed your hair, gained or lost weight, grown facial hair, or even just aged a little, there's a chance the system won't recognize you. In one recent example that went viral, a woman in her 40s was nearly barred from boarding because her updated hairstyle and light makeup confused the AI. She had to pull out multiple IDs and plead with agents to prove she was, well, herself. And she's not alone. In fact, complaints are rising from frequent travelers, especially women, saying they're being flagged for subtle differences like mascara, lip color, or even contouring. One man reported shaving his beard and being detained for 45 minutes during re-entry. It's not just inconvenient, it's creepy. Because the same system that's scanning your face might also be logging your emotions, stress levels, and even analyzing eye movement for signs of suspicious behavior. So what can you do? First, keep your passport photo as up-to-date as possible. If you've changed your appearance significantly, consider renewing it early. And second, when in doubt, skip the automated gates and go to a human agent. Because when it comes to facial recognition and AI, being too pretty or too tired might just get you pulled aside. If you found these secrets surprising, please give this video a like and subscribe. It really helps. And if you're still curious, I think you'll enjoy the videos on the end screen. See you over there.